Hello, beautiful souls. We are here in the magical Caribbean Sea, recording live on the ones and twos. Just here, grateful to be in the magical waters. Mother Yemoya, her gifts, her love, her magic, her infinite energy. It's a gift to be here. And I always feel so called to the ocean. Ocean reminds me of how infinite I am, how infinite we all are. There's no limits in the sea. It's beautiful. Today's message and topic is about reincarnation. Why are we here? Why is our soul here in this lifetime at this moment? And what are we here for? What are we here to do? You know? I feel like more than anything, I've been feeling this calling, this purpose more and more within myself of like really being just intentional about my purpose and not doing things just for the fun of it. And I have fun, I balance it out, but it's just living life more intentionally. I feel like I've just had that calling to be more intentional about life. You know what I mean? This existence is way beyond what we can even fathom. And I feel like humans, we create a lot of suffering within ourselves in this planet, on this planet. So then we don't even fulfill what our soul really came here for, because there's so many distractions and so many things that keep us from fulfilling it, you know? And when you wake up and you realize, like, this is what I'm really here to do, I'm here to be, then you can't ignore the call. You know what I mean? And all I try to do is just be a vessel and be as clear and open as I can. So all of us, we can all, be free. Because in the life and reincarnation, like, we come back to earth. That is when you are not free into heaven or to, the ancestral realm. You are kept here. Your soul and spirit is kept here. These are just vessels that we live in. Sorry, y'all, this is pissing me off. These are just vessels. So we have to... One second. But yeah, as I was saying, our purpose here in this life, so we don't have to keep relearning and reliving and living in karmic cycles and, keep coming back and doing the same thing. Like, I don't feel like I'm from this planet. I really don't. I've read books and I've done studying, and we are all different. Some of us are. I don't feel like it naturally. I feel like I was from a planet that had a lot of water, because water, I don't have any water placements, but I feel so connected to water. Like, I'm one with it, But, yeah, we have to free ourselves, because a lot of things keep us in cycles, in loops where we're not truly free, where we get like a speck of our truest ability of being, the magic of being and being alive. So I feel like I've just been remembering, like, I'm here to teach, I'm here to guide, I'm here to live and experience, and also to learn from them. I don't want to keep learning the same things. And that's a conscious choice you have to make. Like, so many people aren't making that choice to choose themselves. Instead of choosing, a relationship, choosing a job, choosing an environment that isn't really feeding them. So then you get stuck and you're not living, you're just programmed. You're performing, basically. You're living in this life that is just the same every day, because you're not choosing to go on the soul's journey. Our soul has a journey, has a destiny, has a path that is waiting for us to take the leap, to take the step, to take the jump. And it's not going to be easy. It's not. we aren't supposed to only take the easy path just because it looks accessible. Sometimes your path may have a whole bunch of trees and bushes, and you might get sticked a little bit, you might get cut up, but at least the path you learned. If you go down a path and journey that's already just cut and clean and crisp, then you're not going to learn as much because everything is already set out for you. So while it's so easy and it's so beautiful, everything that has beauty isn't good and isn't divine. Beauty is sometimes just an illusion, you know? So it's really about that remembering of why I came here and really sitting with yourself. And no, it's not because of just a job and just a specific dream. It's beyond our physical desires. It's spiritual desires. Ooh, the water getting higher. Oh, because it's boat. So I feel like a big part of me coming to Jamaica was this remembrance. I feel like I'm continuously learning to remember why I really am here. You know what I mean? And when I travel, I don't do a whole bunch of deep research. And I kind of enjoy that. I think it's good to be well educated about where you're going, but I feel like it's also important to experience for yourself, because your experience is not going to be someone else's experience. And what you could embark and discover is not going to be what other people have discovered or seen, if you're listening to what your soul is calling you to. So, for me, it's like I'm very open and clear. I try to be as clear as I can. So I know when to go, and I know when to stay, and I know when to move, and I know when to be still. I know when to just watch and receive. Because in the journey of life, all we can do is listen to ourselves. Other people's lives are not ours. People can guide us, and people can give us messages and be messengers along our path. But that doesn't mean that we're supposed to listen to every single thing or do everything someone else says. Sometimes you aren't going to listen. Sometimes you aren't going to, sometimes we're going to be disobedient because we had to learn and experience for ourselves. Because sometimes you don't get shit until you learn it yourself. You know what I mean? And that just even goes to being a kid. Sometimes we have to be curious and wondrous like kids are. So we really can understand and fully grasp what something is teaching us or trying to tell us. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm just really grateful that I always listen to myself and trust in where I'm being called to. And I don't know everything, and I'm not supposed to, because things reveal itself as the journey continues. You know what I mean? And I'm just grateful for this life, because I feel this is the lifetime where I really free and I can move into the ancestral realm. I feel my soul feels ancient. Like I've had all this wisdom and I've lived a lot of lives here. You know what I mean? And this is the lifetime where I have no fear. I'm letting go of a lot of fear and guilt and shame. A lot of guilt and shame too. Been realizing that a lot here, a lot. But why are you here? That's a question to ask yourself on a deeper level. Like, why am I here? Because all of us are here for very divine reasons. Nobody's a mistake. Nothing is an accident. So we have to trust and really try to get deeper with ourselves, with, our truth. So we just live in fulfillment. You know what I mean? It just feels good to know that, I did everything that I really wanted to do and that my heart guided me to, and I did it with no fear. And I didn't allow my environment, or I didn't allow people to, take me away from where I was supposed to do in life. I feel like that's the only time people regret things. Oh shit, bitch, you're getting high. Hold up. Pause. I feel like that's the only time people really regret stuff, is when they don't do what they really felt called to do in life. But sometimes, and that's why it's important, because sometimes our ancestors just really didn't have that choice. And that's why it's so important to live in the ancestor's dream. And I say that all the time, where I've been saying it more frequently, because sometimes the ancestors didn't get to choose what their dream was. They had to just do what their family told them to do what was going to allow them to live. You know what I mean? Having to make choices from survival. But now that we have enough freedom, we have the choice. We do have free will. So we have to use it. Because I know my spirit and my soul is grateful for me, choosing to step out the matrix and do what my heart is telling me, not my mind, and reprogramming my mind to reprogramming my body, my heart, my gut to control my reality and not my mind. The mind is just to process things. We give too much power to things that are only meant to control aspects of self, aspects of our being. So it's just time to really sit and ask yourself, like, what have you always felt like you were supposed to do as a kid? What were you naturally, some people were naturally nurturers. Some people were naturally, good at art and good at storytelling. Some people are naturally actresses and good at, tapping into different characters, and that's a gift. And then how can you serve that to the world? How can you take your gifts and showcase that and inspire others? Maybe your gift is to inspire. Maybe your gift is to influence. Maybe your gift is to create things you've never seen before. To innovate. It's really just sitting with yourself and doing everything that you feel called to with no limitations. There's nothing holding us back. Only ourselves. And that's why I go so deep. I've gone so deep in that solar plexus chakra, man, that yellow. Because our yellow is our vitality, is our will, it's our connection to the sun, to our soul, to who we are. You have to know who you are. You have to know who you are to know what you're here to do. And it takes time with self and solitude and quietude and nature to really know and lock in and remember who you are before you were programmed, before you were taught things, before the world and society, made you feel like you weren't important because you didn't have certain things, or made you feel like you weren't worthy of a certain life or of being, just your truest self. Like, so many people don't feel comfortable being themselves. And it's really just a program. And it's like when you really strip away these concepts of being that has been pushed upon us, then we can really get to the bud of us, right? You see a flower and then you pull all these petals off and there's a flower bud. And you see that that's the trueness. It's not all about the beauty on the outside, but it's the trueness on the inside. And we have to get back to that. And I'm grateful. I've always kind of been a person that liked to be alone. Like, I love being with people, but I get kind of tired of being with people. Like, I'm a light worker, quote unquote. I don't even like to announce myself as a work anything. I'm just a light being. I'm a light being. So for me, I feel like a lot of what I do naturally is bring light into environments. You know what I mean? And give and love and nurture. And with that, it can be draining. You can be in places. I've been in so many places where I was just being so drained, and it was just because I'm being so naturally loving and kind and giving. And I'm like, damn, I'm so drained right now. Like, you know what I mean? After the day is done, and I'm like, why do I feel this way? Because that's a gift and it's one of my powers. You know what I mean? And that's something I've had to learn about myself. That's why so many people love to be around me and they don't be wanting me to go. Like, nope. I've given you all I was supposed to. And now I have to go on and continue on my journey and continue on this life path. And we have to learn ourselves. We have to learn the depths of ourselves. We cannot be afraid. We can't be afraid of things that we may not like. And sometimes it's the truth. We have to get into the things we don't like about ourselves, what we love about ourselves, what we know we're amazing at, what we know we need to work on. We have to know ourselves through and through, because if you don't know yourself, then you'll be easily manipulated. And that's all society does now. So many things are manipulation. So many things that look like, oh, you know, guidance or help or whatever. It's manipulation to control the mind. I mean, we've been manipulated since we were kids. They started real young. I mean, the whole public school system is like a manipulation scheme to make you work forever and to get you into the routine of work, basically. It starts young. But when you learn and you are aware, you know, knowing yourself allows you to be aware of yourself. You know, and I remember when I wasn't aware of myself, and I wasn't aware of how beautiful I was inside and out, and I wasn't aware of how creative I was and how I think differently, you know? So I was just giving all my energy away, my power away. And now I don't do that. And people be feeling some type of way. Like, is this still recording? Oh, okay. Hey, what's going on? Oh, okay. Hey, I dance with it. Okay. But the truth of why we're here is all in you. All the wisdom, all the things you ever need to know in life is all within you. Your soul is waiting for you to want to know more, to want to get deeper with yourself. It's so much more than the surface. Like this, it's like the ocean. We see the ocean and we see its beauty at a certain level, but it's so much more depth to it. It's so many things we don't see. And if you just float on the surface forever, then you're only experiencing half of what you really are. Like, the ocean is so much more than we can ever perceive it to be. We only see it at the surface, at its meeting of the land, basically. You know what I mean? So, you know, just get deeper with yourself. Love yourself more. Do it for yourself. Choose yourself. Choose to take time to know yourself, so you can't be easily manipulated and easily distracted. A lot of distractions are manipulations. You don't even realize it. You know, why can't you put your phone down? Oh, is this recording? You know, like why we can't put our phones down, why we crave things, why we think certain ways. We've been manipulated mentally a lot. And I see it a lot even here in Jamaica, like even in music, so many things are manipulations, man. Especially in music. You know what I mean? We're manipulated to be hypersexual, hypervigilant. And we don't even understand why. People don't even realize why they are the way they are. It's because of how they were raised and how they were brought up. And it takes someone who really wants to evolve, to want better for themselves, to want better for humanity, to become more than their environment, to typically, you know, become more. That's why I just put so much emphasis on knowing yourself. Because when you know who you are, you can really be you, unapologetically. You're not afraid of being seen. You're not afraid of how people perceive you. And then you really do things with ease. Everything is natural. Like, you don't even have to think about what needs to be done. You just feel it. And we're here to feel our way through life. And you realize when cycles, you really can really move with the cycles of the universe, of the moon, of the sun, of just nature. When you are really deeply connected with yourself, you know when seasons are coming to a change, and you know when you also need to change. You know when you need to fast, you know when you need to rest more, you know when you need to work more. Like, it's all about self. Yourself, and how deep you are connected to yourself is a reflection of your whole reality. And then you don't have to come and reincarnate and go through the same cycles and the same lessons. And you can ascend into heaven, and we really are creating heaven here on this earth by choosing to liberate ourselves in our physical being. But when you really get to the depths of it and you want to evolve here, so then you can evolve humanity, then you'll have a high ranking in the spiritual realm. And you can be a ancestor, and you guide and you teach and you come and you assist other souls on their journey, and that's beautiful. I don't want to live forever. I mean, we are all eternal, infinite beings, all just part of this big creator. We are here so God could be a living embodiment. We are here to be living embodiments of the creator, source of God, so they can experience life in all the different multitudes. That's why we're not here to be the same. That's why it's important to know who you are and be who you are, because we weren't created to be the same. And the more you embrace that, the more life really flows naturally for you. And the magic happens because your magic and your gifts. So, yes, beautiful souls, why are you here? What is your purpose? Sit with yourself, and also sit with it beyond material or creativity. Like, it's like your heart to teach, to guide, to love, to share, to nurture, to heal, to inspire, to influence. It's so much deeper than physical things. And we have to wake up. All right? Much love, and I'll speak to y'all soon, beautiful souls. Beautiful souls.